Hello. And today we are welcoming a very special guest from the other side of the world to this podcast, The Athletic Mind Unleashed. And this is Krish Sidhu, who has very extensive athletic background. Now he's also using everything that he has learned as an athlete and as a wellness and health professional, fitness professional. And he's also offering quite a lot of things to other people that can elevate anybody's lifestyle. And this can be good for anybody whether you're traveling as a digital nomad, because I also talk a lot about digital nomads and the traveling routines, but it's actually useful for anybody who wants to elevate their life. But I think we will get to this at some point, and he will tell you all about this amazing product that he's doing and offering to the world. But first, I would actually like to know more about Chris, who I also read. He's professional martial artist. So you have done a lot of martial arts and fighting. Tell me a little bit more about
Thank you
this.
so much. Well,
What's
it's a
your history?
pleasure to meet you and share some of the journey that we've taken here. So, my background for sports is quite diverse. When I was younger, I did 10 years of soccer, and then all throughout high school, volleyball, basketball, rugby. And then throughout all of that, did dance, breakdancing back in the day, and then taught hip hop later in life. And then did martial arts my whole life. So I have, from when I was younger, I have a second degree black belt in Taekwondo. And then when I'm older, from about 22 to training and hardcore training till about 15 years of that was, it's called acumen. It's like 16 different styles in one. And I have a third degree black belt in that. So I've been teaching and training martial arts for, I'm dating myself a little bit, but almost 40 years. So it's been a wonderful journey.
Wow, looks like you have been like very, very busy. And how many hours did you actually train when you were younger? You had all this dancing and ball games and martial arts. How much time does it
Well,
actually
it's my life,
involve?
which so I was in school. I didn't love school, like the learning part. I did very well, was always honor roll student and things, but my most exciting time was to get through school and then get out and play all the sports and do all the dance and do all the martial arts. So that's where my passion's always been, has been moving my body and staying active and competing and winning and all that kind of stuff.
This kind of in fact can be like very good motivation to study hard just to get it done very quickly so you can go and do other stuff. So has this ability helped you in any other ways in your life, like having all this discipline and just doing stuff and achieving life easier to some
100%. So I think sports and dance and martial arts, they create a foundation for you of discipline and respect and patience and confidence. Those are like kind of the four pillars that of my life that I live by. That's really the four pillars of all of those endeavors. So I think for everybody, for kids growing up or even adults starting at a later age, if you can pick up something in sports or dance or martial arts kind of drills it home a little more. It creates such a great foundation for you that you can take into any realm of life, whether it's business or relationships or your other endeavors that you have, just your hobbies. You really tend to excel in all of those things because you've created a very good foundation and the confidence to go out and do a lot of great stuff.
hard stuff like run marathons, compete in martial arts competitions, or whatever. You can do anything. That's what I believe, and I think you are like a very good example of this. But I'm in fact curious, how did you like get into sport? You were describing that you were doing many different things. Did your parents guide you towards the sport, or was it like your own?
Yeah, I'm very blessed to have very spiritually connected and educated and worldly parents. My mom's a retired teacher, elementary school teacher for 30 years. My dad's actually a sports medicine doctor. So he did his doctorate in Russia, trained cosmonauts and Olympic athletes, and came to North America and started sports medicine in North America and taught all the CFL, did all the summer camps for NHL and CFL and guys trained many Olympic athletes over here in the North America as well. And so I've grown up with that. And from an early age, my dad would be swinging me around and, throwing me around. And I was always very active. So I think it's in my DNA as well. And then I was just naturally inclined to sports and I excelled quickly at it. In my younger years, being athlete of the year and all those kinds of things. So
Environment plays quite huge part, and if you have this supportive environment, it's much easier to start. But what would you tell to somebody who maybe doesn't have that kind of supportive environment? How would you encourage them to start some kind of whatever
You
sport?
know, I say this a lot and I teach this a lot and preach this a lot. You have to be selfish. You have to just really look after yourself. You know, your parents are your parents, but that doesn't mean they always know best, and they're flawed people as well. So hopefully you can have the right guidance and the right base to grow from, but a lot of people don't. So you really have to look within yourself to what's going to make you happy, what's going to keep you pushing forward and keep you motivated. Sports or martial arts, dance, those are all going to create the foundations in you to be successful in your life. So you really need to look inward, because if you're looking for external validation, a lot of the times in life it's not there, and you really have to do it just for yourself.
Yeah, completely agree. So, what kind of sport are you doing right now? Of your
Mostly
life.
because of my travel schedule and work schedule. I'm mostly just in the gym. I try to hit the gym 4 to 5 times a week, and I'll do a little shadow boxing and a little movement in the gym with my martial arts stuff. But you know, when I was training back in the day, my classes were crazy. I'd teach 2 or 3 classes in the morning, have a break, and then 4 or 5 classes at night. And then I would do my own training before and after in between of that. So, and we had our school for about 15 years. So 15 years of that almost every day. And then at the same time with that, we had other businesses we were running and stuff. So I was a bit of a machine back in the day. Now I'm a little older. So, you know, I have to time management a little bit better. But nowadays, it's just at least let's get in the gym and stay active and stay moving.
Yeah, and the fact is that there are gyms everywhere in the world, so you don't have an excuse to get out of it. And I think you don't want to skip the workout because you've been doing this your whole life, and it's so
Yes,
deep in your identity that you will actively seek for
absolutely.
opportunities to do it. That's at least what I do, because I would say that my identity is that of an athlete, and for you, I think it's even like more so because you have been an athlete for so many years and on so high levels and in so many different sports. It's normal for you, and I think you would feel
I
misaligned if
agree.
you didn't
Yes.
do it. And this is also very tightly linked to this topic that I talk about a lot, and this is like digital nomads and or anybody else who is like frequent traveler like you are. And you are a very good example that you can have a good routine, you can train whenever you're away from home. So, do you always succeed? Can you always keep up with your routines when you're like,
No, no, I don't. I don't always. Sometimes you fall off or you get tired, and you know you make excuses for yourself. So I'm not perfect. I don't train every day, but I do try to stay as disciplined as possible because you can't always be motivated. Discipline is what keeps you going throughout life. So even when you're traveling, if you don't have a gym or you don't have the time, I find myself, I just bang out, I do like a hundred push-ups and 100 sit-ups and 100 squats. And then that just, at least I did something, and some like 100 skips in between those sets. So I'll do like 4 sets, you know, 25 push-ups, 25 sit-ups, 25 squats, 100 skips. And I'll do that 4 times. And then that at least got me moving. I feel better that I didn't waste my day. At least I got something in the door. And so, you know, there's always options for you to trick yourself too mentally, because if you miss those workouts mentally, you kind of lose respect for yourself almost, you know. And you're like, once you do it, the motivation stays there, you move all the juices in your body, and you really feel that a sense of accomplishment, like, all right, at least I got my workout in, I'm already winning for the day, let's get moving.
I think that just not breaking the habit, not breaking the chain, not breaking the routine, this can sometimes be the most important thing. I always tell also to my own clients that I coach that something is always more than nothing. Even if it's like just 1 minute, just do something because it creates some kind of link in your brain that, okay, I was good today. I did do the workout. You don't have to always think about the length of the workout. You just have to think, okay, I did it. I won my day and I will continue the next day. And yeah, I think you also said it very wisely that you can always do something and it doesn't matter where you are. And like my previous podcast guest said, if you have a floor, you can work out, you can do push-ups, you can do squats, whatever. You don't need to have like fancy equipment and you don't have
Right.
to wait for the perfect moment. And I think as you have been doing sports for decades, you have seen like all kinds of conditions. And maybe years ago the gyms and training places were not so, you know, perfect, but you
It's
still got
true.
everything
It's
done.
very true. I mean, you even look at the icons from back in the day, like Arnold and all those guys, and they had a great gym work environment. But with all the different machines and stuff now, it wasn't anything like then. But you see the physiques that they came out with, and that's basically their discipline to get in there and do whatever they needed to do to get it done. I think that's great advice. That wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you got a floor, you can rock and roll. So.
So that was about the workouts. How do you manage to sleep when you're like
That's a great
traveling?
question too. I sometimes struggle with sleep because I have many businesses and many projects and many things I'm doing. So my brain stays busy. So I try to kind of like do some breathing techniques and zen out a little bit. And one of the main things, I mean, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but is stay very hydrated is very important for keeping your body calm and relaxed and functioning properly. So I think that's one of the main things is just, some deep breathing techniques is great. Staying hydrated is great, and trying to shut your mind off, not be on your phone too long. We can all start scrolling and get on TikTok and Instagram, and 3 hours goes by. You're like, oh my God, I'm watching a little Frenchie dog because I have a Frenchie, a French bulldog. So I'll be scrolling through Frenchie videos for hours and just like, I'm like, oh, let's shut this down.
Yeah, and once you notice it, it's like,
Yeah,
okay, what the hell am I doing? It's like this moment your brain is maybe a little bit switched off and something in you is
correct.
just scrolling and doing it. And when the brain turns on again, it's like, okay,
Hmm.
stop. Chris, what are you doing? It's like, what is this? Why are you looking at this
Correct. Yeah.
Frenchy videos? It can be fun for maybe like the first 3 minutes, but after this I think you get stuck in this loop. But you do have this
Yes.
ability to stop
Correct.
yourself and come back, because I think you have trained the discipline through sports over many many decades, and that's why you can come back to yourself better. And that was very fascinating to also
Yes.
hear about breathing techniques. It seems like you look at yourself as a holistic, like as a whole, and it's not just training and doing, it's also calming your mind. So tell me a little bit more
Well,
about these breathing
through my
techniques,
40
in
years of
fact.
martial arts and sports and everything as well, your breath, one of your main factors for your success in everything you're doing. And I put it in perspective for people. This is a thing I tell you. People heard me say this before, but I kind of ask the class, I'll be like, with modern medicine and all these kinds of things, what's the average human lifespan? And people will say, 75 years, 80 years now with medicine and all that stuff. And I tell them, you're all wrong. The average span of a life is one breath. If the breath comes, you have life. If the breath doesn't come, you don't
Mm.
have life. So that's how important this little
Oh
bit of
wow.
air is going inside our body that is giving you everything you have in life is because of that one breath. And so when you put it in perspective that way and you learn how to control your breath and use your breath and the benefits that it's giving you above and beyond your life, you really start to like, okay, this is something I should really focus on. And all martial arts techniques, every time we're punching, we're exhaling, you're breathing, or you're yelling on the kiap, or you're moving. And we have certain techniques where you like breathe in and lock your breath and then move your body, and that's like giving vitamins to your body. So it's very essential for your health and well-being to learn not only how to breathe but how to breathe properly, and especially for different things you want to do.
Because the movement is kind of synchronized. And martial arts is very often, I think most of it is coming from the East and like Asia, and maybe they're more
Yes.
connected to the breath as well. And it's so nice to see how it's also coming into our consciousness right
Yes.
now in the West.
In your training,
And you
we tell everybody to turn their mind off. So how you do that is you teach them technique and you say focus on your breathing. So you say you move this way, inhale, now move this way, exhale. Move this way, inhale, move this way, exhale. And as soon as you start doing that, it's literally an active meditation, and you go into this form of zen where your body's getting nourished, your mind's shutting off, your breath is giving your body life. And then when you're in that state, smash through bricks or breaking wood or running up walls. You can do crazy stuff when you're in that state. So it's very, very essential. And you can carry that into your life as long as you turn your brain off. I think you'll notice, like, when you start thinking a lot or trying to figure things out, you tend to hold your breath and you're like, okay, what am I doing? You got like, okay, let me try to breathe through this and figure it out.
Yeah, it's like turn your mind
Correct.
off and turn your body on. And this is how the body can be fully on and can do like these big things like smashing the bricks. As you can see, like
That's
in many
correct.
martial arts movies
That's
on
correct.
TV, for example. So yeah, yeah, that's amazing. And a little bit also about nutrition, especially when you're traveling. How do you keep this functioning and on track?
You have to be a little flexible because you don't always have your stuff at home that you normally eat and have your routine. But I've been actually vegetarian, not vegan quite six. I had a little bit of butter and cheese sneak in, but I've chosen to go for the last 5 6 years to not eat animal products and stuff, and so or animals themselves. But I find wherever I go, they have very good vegan or vegetarian options, and you just try to watch your calorie intake and make sure you're getting your protein in that you need. So you just have to be very mindful as you're moving along. And some days you got to grab a pizza or grab something that's not very so beneficial to you to keep you going. But if your body's moving and you're staying active, the slippage in the diet part won't hit you so hard. They always say you can't out train a bad diet, so that doesn't mean you can just eat whatever you want and your body's going to be okay. But if you keep the discipline for most of it and you cheat a little bit here and there, you should be fine.
Yeah. Do you keep track of your nutrition in any way, like some app or
Personally, I
something?
don't. I have friends who are always getting me on that. I probably should, and I'm sure there's some great apps out there to use to do that. But I just, in general, eat fairly healthy. When I'm out, salads and different types of proteins. I have my protein shakes in the morning and getting my daily count of that in as much as I can, and especially when I'm training. I'm much more disciplined when I'm in training mode and kind of fighting mode, training mode, than my everyday stuff because your input has to equal your output and what you want to get for gains. All that math has to factor in.
Hmm. And when we talk about hydration, there's also this, no, when we talk about nutrition, there's also this very important part that I know that you have been working on it
Yes.
quite a lot, and it's hydration. And I know that you have also this special drink, it's called Perform H2O, that helps to hydrate in the very best way. So tell me, what's behind all this? What does it mean? Why is this water better than the normal
So
tap
our
water, for example?
water, I can say, is probably some of the best water on the planet. And why I can say that is that my partner developed a frequency technology and below 33 frequency tech. So basically, what we do is we take the water and we energize our water and we improve the thermodynamics of the water. So what that does is it makes it more soluble. So when you drink it, you actually absorb more of the water, and the minerals and electrolytes and everything that's in the water now become more bioavailable, so they can pass through your cell membrane, so you absorb more of it as well.
Mm.
So we have the clinical trials and the hydration studies that prove that our water hydrates you better. So we've really got a game changer here as far as the hydration and recovery space goes.
And who should
Well,
drink that water?
everyone. Chronic dehydration is really an epidemic. Most people are chronically dehydrated. And what that does is it puts a low level stress in your body and some high level stress, depending. You see, if you don't drink enough water, you start getting headaches, you start not feeling good, maybe short of breath. And majority of that stuff is due to lack of hydration. So if your body is hydrated properly, your internal systems will function properly, your brain will function properly, or to the best of its ability, and you're giving your body and brain the best chance to be healthy and happy.
Thing. It's like, and I think that it's true in modern society. Many people do have like problems with hydration, or they are dehydrated because we very often drink anything else
Correct.
that is not water. It's like the energy drinks, the bubbly stuff, sodas, whatever. And hmm, I'm also curious. Does the water have any kind of taste?
Yeah,
Taste
so
like
it's
plain
very
water?
interesting. Our water, our first product is just the normal water. I can show you here. This is our water here. It's just normal water, which, and
Mm-hmm.
what we do is reverse osmosis. So we purify the water and then remineralize it, and then we put our sticker on it and put the sleeve on. So that's how clean and pure the water is. But people say that, oh my God, it has a taste to it, and it's actually just the smoothness of the water, and they're actually tasting the pure water because of the thermodynamics that we've changed and how the energetic state of the water is. It's a very unique experience to drink our water. We've started technically with unflavored water or regular water, but we will be coming out with other flavors.
Yeah, and Is there like some kind of personal story or struggle behind all
No,
this water? Did you
yeah,
design this
so
product for
so not
yourself?
so much a personal from my business background and standpoint and kind of looking at how markets can go and if I'm going to get involved in things, my parameters are we have to make lots of money, help lots of people and have lots of fun. So this lifestyle brand and bringing water to the public and literally the best water that they can drink to them hits all those parameters. So I think not so much a struggle, but really a very thought out game plan to how can I be successful and help lots of people and at the same time create something that's going to be a lot of fun for us.
Yeah, I can see that you're really enjoying this water. I've seen you like drinking it throughout this
Thank
podcast
you.
quite
Yes.
a few times already. So if you if you believe in your own product, this is already like a good indicator that it has to be a
Thank you.
good thing.
Absolutely. So I met my partner Joseph, who developed the technology. He spent about 10 years and $12.5 million developing the tech. And then when we met and collab to bring out or start the brand and do all this stuff, I can tell you I've noticed in the last 4 years since I've been using the technology on my water and even on my wearables and stuff, my health has been better. Even when I get sick, because we all get sick sometimes, my recovery time's crazy fast. So I'll get sick or feel a cold, I'll shut it down for a day. A lot of our water and fluids and all that kind of stuff, and some good food. And almost in 24 hours to 48 hours, I'm better. And even through COVID, I had COVID and it like hit me. And I think in 48 hours, I was out of it again. I think staying super hydrated and the technology behind this has really helped myself.
So it sounds like you don't really need the modern medicine because you are fulfilling your basic needs. You're fulfilling your body's basic needs like sleep, nutrition, hydration, breathing, and this
It
actually works
does.
for
So I
you.
think medicine sometimes is good, but I'm a strong believer of, I don't want to say anti pharma, but I don't like pharmaceutical stuff. I actually have a cannabis background as well. So I love all the natural plant medicines and have done that business for about 12 years as well. So fairly diverse when it comes to natural dynamics as opposed to pharma or unnatural. And so there's a lot of very much more educated and smarter people than me saying, like a David Sinclair or a Gary Brecka, that tell us and teach us that your body actually develops and is its own little pharma factory, medicine factory. We actually can produce everything that we need. But the problem with most people is that their body's not functioning properly in order to produce what they need. If you can get to the point where you keep your body moving, keep your body healthy, stay hydrated, there's always illnesses and those types of things, and hopefully you can struggle and push and get through those things. Your body can give you everything that you need, and you don't have to go to outside sources.
Yeah, you are going inside the body, you're going to the root, yeah, and the core reasons. And I think many people are just dealing with the consequences, dealing with the surface level stuff, the surface level symptoms, because this seems the easiest thing to do. This is like tangible, this is something that they can touch, this is something that they can have a control over. But I can see that you have cracked the code. You know that to have lasting and very deep change, you need to go deep. You need to go to this very core level and maybe, do all these boring things like, having a good routine and having proper sleep, nutrition, hydration. It might feel boring for many people, but I think both you and I, we know that this is the thing that gives a lasting change. And this is what keeps you going
Correct.
for many,
You're
many
absolutely
years. Your body is kind of machine and it's like a factory that's producing all kinds of things, but it can only produce things from the fuel that you're like putting into it. And if you're putting crappy fuel, you will also get crappy
that's
results, I
absolutely
would
true.
say.
The input will equal the output for sure.
Yeah. And you also mentioned that you have a lifestyle brand. So does it mean that you also have other products
When we
out?
came out and wanted to start with the product line and all those things, I talked to one of my partners, Antoinette, and I said, I think we can do something a lot bigger here and do a lifestyle brand and come out with different products because the technology is so versatile for the applications. And she said, yeah, of course we should do that. So I kind of evolved the company. The company's called the Evolved Co. And we have evolved to the point where we've created this very cool ethos and ecosystem of our lifestyle brand of health and wellness and kind passion and happiness and all those good things, but at the same time rooted in the foundation of very cool science and technology and discipline and respect and patience and confidence and all those things as well. So the products that we're coming out with, we have the lifestyle brand, but then we're creating a product lines under the lifestyle brand. So we start with the water. We're going to have flavored water coming out as well. We have the wearables, so we can put the tech. Actually, my T-shirt has some of the technology on it right here, and we can enhance performance, enhance recovery, enhance calmness, acuity. For women, we can put our tech in the front of their tights, for example, and help with their menstrual pain. So we've got a lot of cool stuff we can do like that. I'm a founder of a clay company up in Canada. We have some of the best clay on the planet. I'm going to do a whole skincare line with our clay and enhance it with our frequency technology. So we can do anti-inflammatory frequencies, anti-anxiety frequencies. So really like kind of sky's the limit on what we can do. And so we didn't want to be a product company. We wanted to be a more of a lifestyle brand coming out with cool products.
Sounds cool. It sounds a lot like biohacking. Would you describe yourself as
I
a
guess
biohacker?
on by default, maybe I'm always looking for new ways to make the human body perform better, make my mind perform better. I'm a bit tenacious in my entrepreneurial spirit and my athletic spirit. I always like to win. I always like to be the best at what I do. So I think that part of that is trying to figure out what's going to make you perform at your most optimum level. Biohacking absolutely comes into that. For example, us hacking the biological background of the water and to make its energetic state perform at its most optimum solubility so you actually get the benefit of the water. That's true biohacking. Absolutely.
And you said only the sky is the limit, or maybe for you, even the sky is not the limit. So, if you could create anything, what would it be? How would you help the humankind? Just no limit.
I feel that what we're doing now on a grand scale with what we have with our water, and that's one of the reasons I got into the business because I'm not a beverage guy. I'm not in the drink space. And so to get into this space, it's a very hard business to get into. It's very competitive and all those things. But I felt that I could affect the most amount of lives and help the most amount of people with a very simple and sophisticated product on a grand scale. And so that's really what I feel that we're doing now with the Evolved Co, bringing people into this ecosystem where they can help themselves and feel better. And the side effect of drinking our water is you feel better because you're literally getting more hydrated and stuff. So I feel that we're really accomplishing that goal with what we're doing now.
Okay, amazing. And let's say that you could have three tips or health hacks that anyone could benefit from. What would you recommend people to do to just quickly elevate their health
So
and
stay
things?
hydrated. That's number one. Do some breathing techniques, and you can just Google breathing techniques. They got a Wim Hof breathing or box breathing, or whatever. Breathe in for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 5, hold for 5. Do 5 of those in the morning, 5 throughout your day. It really changes your whole internal systems. And I'm a big joker. I say that you got to laugh a lot. I'm always laughing. I'm always joking. I'm always teasing people. I said, if I'm teasing you, that means I like you. So I'm always joking around. And I think laughter is one of the incredible keys that I've found. It decreases your stress quite a bit and brings out a lot of those good juices flowing in your body. So stay hydrated, keep your breathing on lock, and lots of laughter.
So
Yes.
drink, breathe, and laugh.
Right?
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a good life. Thank you for this. Thank you for sharing little bits of your life. Thank you for sharing this water with the world. And I hope that you are going to be doing a lot of big things in the future.
Thank
And
you
I
so
hope to
much
hear
for
from
having
you
me.
again.
It's been a pleasure.
Also, before you go,
Perfect.
where
That's a
can
great
people
question.
find
So,
you?
so the water is available in North America right now. We've done just our launch over this last year. So we're in North America. You can find us on Amazon. And then we're working on some other retail deals right now. If you go into Amazon and search Perform H2O, all in one word, will pop up right away. And then on our social media at Perform H2O, at The Evolved Co. I don't know if you can see it there, The Evolved Co. And then mine is
Yeah.
at Krish Sidhu 23. So you can find us all on that.
So you are like all over
Oh,
the
yes.
internet, and people can easily find you and find the products and start enjoying a better life
Correct.
already today.
Bye bye.